Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome. It's been an intense day in the world, in my emotional, spiritual space, and it is Thursday. Thursday is Jupiter's day, and Jupiter is Thor, is thunder. Jupiter is all about calling unto us our divine blessings, but Jupiter is also about righteousness, about right action, about justice. So I want to call in the feeling, the presence of justice today, and I'm going to let the cards show us which way. Maybe some of you caught my live earlier. So much. There's so much that we need to hold space for right now. And I'm going to ask for clarity. Great Spirit, may this reading bring us what we need to move forward in the most optimal way for our collective healing and liberation. I'm going to use the Modern Witch Tarot today, this evening. I invite you all to pose your individual questions, and this is especially in honor of all Black lives. Anything you want to have clarity on, specifically how we can help leverage our privilege to honor all peoples, especially Black, Indigenous people of color in today's America, and how we can honor all humanity and human rights in the world by committing to dismantling the white supremacist patriarchy that exists globally, and calling out injustice when we see it, and a special recognition of all of you who are coming into a place of healing in your own bodies, in your own consciousness, who are the descendants of slave owners, who are family members to the 1%. May you leverage your privilege in a way that heals collectively toward collective liberation. Temperance. I'm gonna keep pulling because I'm very temperate right now, let's just say. Okay, so temperance is holds the scales. It's the ebb and flow. Okay, it's the putting some in one cup and some in another cup. This is going back and forth. There's 1 foot in and 1 foot out. This is, to me, saying like really not committing fully right now to a mode of action. So we're still in a space in this pandemic where everything is really unclear. Everything is really contentious. To me, temperance is saying be ready for anything and prepare, but don't go full force in any direction yet, because there's still a lot that we are going to see. So to me, temperance has a lot to do with keeping your mind level, keeping your body presence, keeping your self-care up, but also giving yourself, excuse me.
Love you.
Love you. Say hi. He was in a bath. Get us, Chi-Chi? Keep on your self-care regimen. Keep present with your healing. Keep present with what soothes you right now, because it's about to get a lot more intense, and we need to come at it from a balanced place when it does get more intense. Okay? No. Then the everything is fine card. This is actually, mijito, ya, no. Sorry, the babies, they just love holding the other booby too. Everything is fine. This is the 10 of Swords, and you can see she's like chilling on her phone. It's also not gonna work for us to be like, oh, it's all okay, don't worry about it. No, it's everything's just fine, because everything's not fine. We have to get us the other one. Okay, because everything's not fine. Everything's really fucked up actually, and the system's fucked up, and it has been, and we are grieving, and we are pained, and we are in this place of like, how do I help? How do I show up? What do I need to do? So this is really about acknowledging the pain. Everything isn't fine. This is about asking Black people how we can help. This is about asking Indigenous people how we can help. This is about admitting to ourselves that we have been complicit in this systemic problem because we were born into it, and that we are all part of white supremacy, especially if we are benefiting from white supremacy, if we're light-skinned people, and how we can leverage our privilege to honor that. So first, take care of you, Temperance, and don't get all crazy, because we're gonna need our crazy. Oh, do get in it. Then we're gonna need our crazy, and it's not time yet. We have to like really take care of this so that when it's time, we have ourselves, if that makes sense. Also, and don't deny that there's some fuck shit going on here. See your grief, see your pain, deal with it, okay? Spend time with the people that you love, processing everything that's gone on. Have ritual, have meals, deal with, like, call in the people that need to be checked, okay? Call out behavior that is unacceptable, okay? What can you do right now to help yourself and your community? Okay, the 10 of Swords is like, it's come to completion. We all know what the fuck is going on. How now are we going to heal it and deal with it? I've been debating on whether or not to wean the toddler. This is a lot, you know? Next, 10 of Wands. So we've got two completion cards. This one was upside down, which is like a suggestion. The 10 of Wands is always like, it's like a burden. This is a heavy burden to carry, and we just have to be ready for that. We need to give ourselves permission to hold the heavy, okay? And it's not like holding the heavy and keeping the heavy. It's like dispersing the weight of the heavy. Because right now, I love this. Right now, see, this is a blonde girl. Right now, Black America is holding the heavy, okay? Like being murdered. So this is an invitation for the accomplices, not the allies, the accomplices, to come out and try to share that burden. ¿Qué tienes tú, corazón? Further, more specific, no. Oh, really?
You want to come with me,
Want to go with your dad? Baby butt on camera? No. 1, 2, 3.
Let's read a book. You want to read your book? Up and Down.
Up and down. Being parents intense. Does anybody have anything to say that I can uplift? Does anybody want to share anything? About calling out. I don't like to say I have a cousin who's Chicana, her name's Karen, calling out the Karens. Like, this is really about checking your implicit anti-blackness, your implicit white supremacist patriarchy, because we all have it. I want to have a special, I love you, Britt. I love you, Ariel. Ariel, Britt, you're the beautiful, wonderful human. You're magic as fuck. Go to sleep. Yeah. Yeah, so it's time for us to show the fuck up for fucking doing the work to heal the white supremacist patriarchy. Like, can't just act like it's not a thing anymore. I actually have been contending with this for the last few days. Like, how do I fucking talk about this without offending people? And Lady's Speech hit me up today and was like, it doesn't matter. Come at it from perspective of a Latina, perspective of an indigenous person, perspective of a light-skinned person, perspective of a healer. It doesn't matter how you talk about it. You need to talk about it, though. I was like, all right. And so here I am. And if we make mistakes, at least you're speaking, and then we correct our mistakes. Okay, so I apologize for not speaking up sooner. It's not because I didn't want to. It's because I was scared of saying the wrong thing, but that in itself is a privilege, right? So, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for contending with the really fucked up shit in the United States of America and the world. Heal. Help everyone awaken love. That's what this card says. So, within that, like, yes, I want to be clear and speak on the injustices of the world as Thursday, Jupiter's Day, but I also want to uplift love. So I encourage everyone, as we are contending with the implicit racism of the United States of America and the merciless murder of Black Americans throughout the country, for us to uplift the beauty of Black America, us to uplift the joy, us to like pay Black people for their work, for their labor, us to support Black-owned businesses, us to share Black beauty and honor Black love, and if I'm like holding space for sharing all the good shit. Like, we need to be honoring the good shit, okay? Because if we're fighting the patriarchy, if we're fighting the cis hetero fuck shit, we're still centering it. So how do we show up in a way that is uplifting of our kindred and not giving so much power to the perpetrators of the indoctrination, the perpetrators of the place that of the hurt, the perpetrators of the hurt. And I'm asking you because I want to know how to best uplift. Yeah. Hi, hermana. Space Witch BB, I miss you. Yeah, does anybody have anything to say? Is there anybody who wants to use this as a platform to speak right now? Lucid, listen until clarity illuminates destiny. Listen until clarity illuminates destiny, Lucid. thank you for reminding me. My beautiful sister Shannon spoke of something, my amazing, beautiful, we call her microbiome bay, Asia, Fermentasia, Asia Dorsey. She said, we're all living in the imagination of white men. We can create a new world. Listen until clarity illuminates destiny. Listen to Black people. Listen to Black voices. Listen to Indigenous people. Listen to Indigenous voices. It's time for us to really listen. Okay? You have something to say? I'm not sure what to do, but I want to speak up and hold space for this healing. So I think that's something that's really necessary right now, is just speaking up. And that's what my sister's speech hit me up about today. I was so scared. I think my personal trauma is that I grew up as a light-skinned Chicana in a predominantly Indigenous community, and a lot of darker-skinned people, and like I was consistently berated for like my presentation, and so like I feel like I can't speak specifically in communities of color oftentimes because I'm too light-skinned, but that is also harmful to not speak up, right? It's the silence of our friends. Like, I can't remember who said that, but I don't worry about my enemies. It's the silence of the people who should be speaking up. So I think in general, we should just speak up, right? To hold space for healing. In my birthing class today, I just held space, like let people know, especially if you're in a healing community, you cannot be a healer in this day and age and be doing good, full work if you do not also like acknowledge that we're all really fucked up from colonialism and slavery and genocide, and this lives in our ancestral bones. Like if you go back to my talk earlier, I explained that more, right? To me, it's the other way around. What's the other way around? I don't know exactly what you're talking about. So we really need to hold space for the fact that we are not just healing from a heart thing, or we're not just healing from a limb thing. We are literally healing our ancestral DNA that lives within us from rape and torture that was both taken in by our ancestors and offered by our ancestors. The fear is not just this lifetime, okay? The anger and rage is not just this lifetime. So until we start honoring that and we find ways to heal it through ritual, through deep listening, through deep release, through body work, through acknowledging, we're not going to heal, okay? We all have trauma. It's passed on through our blood. Yes, it is. It lives in our blood, literally. Okay? Hey, Liz. Yeah, so there's just a lot that we can do to hold space for and heal, but it's like, thank you. Black Elk sees ancestral pain exists, but not as much as ancestral resiliency. Yes, and in order to heal, we have to acknowledge both. It's like the analogy I used earlier is that like in an AA meeting, you have to first say, yo, I'm a drunk. I'm addicted to alcohol. I have a problem, before you can then heal from the problem. So we all have to acknowledge the ancestral trauma that lives in us. And if we're mixed bloods, if we're Indigenous and European, if we're African and European, if we're Indigenous and African and European, we have to acknowledge, like, yo, I have rapists and rapies and warriors and people who lynched in the night and people who fucking scalped in the night. Like, I have all of this in my blood, and then you have to mourn it, and you have to grieve it, and you have to like let it live in you without resisting it, so then it will transform. Okay, and there are people to help with this. This is why we have our healers in our community, and I know there's a lot of you out there who are practicing spiritual medicine, who are practicing ancestral hands-on healing, and my expertise is in bridging the spiritual work with the physiological work as a Chinese medicine doctor, as a lineage bruja pasista, as somebody who has been practicing hands-on healing since before I could speak full sentences, through my maternal indigenous lineage. We can't just do one. We can't just pray about it. We also have to act on it. We also have to shift our diets and stop eating colonial food. We also have to break ourselves of toxic thought patterns that are reifying colonial existence, like colorism, like fuck you be, by using the N-word, by like all of these colonial violence things that were put against us for specifically the power of white landowning, land stealing humans. And for those of you who are white predominantly, this doesn't, I'm personally, because I'm a healer, because I've put my hands and felt the spirit of white supremacy in your blood, this isn't about condemning you to being othered, because I don't believe that heals, but this is about calling you in to heal your own lineage, for you to listen to the voices of indigenous and black people by POC, for you to check your privilege, to check your aunts and uncles, to use that cotton money, etc., toward reparations, literally. This is real-time work, and it needs to be. Okay, what else do we say? What else do we say? And ancestral resiliency is a thing, or we wouldn't be here. So that's another thing, is celebrating yourself. If you've got, celebrate who you are, celebrate your bloodline lines, because we are here to heal, and our grandparents, our parents survived so that we can thrive. I have a hard time helping myself, but I do feel like, but I feel I can't help anybody else until I do. Thank you. Grateful for you. I'm grateful for you too. Yeah, it's a curve. You can't, like, I know I run into a lot of healer people who are like, well, you can't heal anybody until you've healed yourself. It's like, we're all fucking wounded and traumatized, okay? Colonialism, hello. Like, it's been happening all over the world, right? My mom's a history teacher, and she worked in the Gilliam Youth Detention Center in Denver for a really long time. She's super brown Chicana. Like, she said, I've been working with marginalized youth since I was one. And she didn't like to teach American history very rawly, especially with the mostly brown and black youngsters in the juvie, right? Because it was angering. Naked baby! And, but you could teach, like, there was an Armenian genocide, right? Like, this, like, Attila the Hun, fucking Genghis Khan. China's done all this stuff with their own people for so long. Like, colonization is not new around the world, right? And if you take it to a global level, then we can understand that we're like reliving history over and over again. And this is like the plight of the people, which makes me like, which makes me really nihilistic at sometimes, but also really like hopeful. But I think really we just need to like stay in our lanes, whatever your lane is, like be the best human you can be and connect and help the people around you, right? Like in this pandemic, if you know people who need food, bring them food, right? If you know, if you're riding, here, Dad, you want this one? If you're riding in the car and you see a cop that is, you know, endangering the lives of black people, pull over and wait and watch. Ask the officers, is everything okay? Ask the black people, is everything okay? He needs his mama. So, thank you for listening to me. I appreciate you all. Thank you for following me. I appreciate everything you do. Please use your privilege toward collective liberation, whatever that looks like for you. If that looks like money, if that looks like your voice. And I am going to be Waken into timeless happiness inside now. You have the power. We have power. Bring your power to the forefront and use it for collective good. Okay. I'm going to be doing another birthing class starting June 9th. Birth is the first ceremony. This is a decolonial space. If you feel called to support me, you can go to Cash App Muse Medicina, PayPal, eutimia@gmail.com, and Cash App, oh, I said that, Cash App Muse Medicina, Venmo, eutimia-montoya. I do consultations for any kind of illness you can have, offering you perspective and steps to be an agent in your own well-being using my expertise as a Chinese medicine doctor and lineage healer, medium and channel. And I have scholarships available for all of my things so that they can be accessible. So if you feel called to work with me, you can DM me or better email me. You can also go to my website, and you'll find all of the things on my website, and I have in my IG bio a link tree. I'm also doing ceremonies with Charmaine Bravo for the full moon and the new moon. Again, this is all space in a healing capacity for decolonial work. So we look at the ugly stuff and we call everyone in. It's time for us. We can't ignore this shit anymore. Okay, I'm gonna go be a mom. Many blessings. Thank you for watching. Ciao.